finally I get to supply a review of the MotoMorini X-Cape 650. This bike has now done 4,500 miles, so I think that's a fair test. I've done about 3,500 of those, 3,500, through some quite testing roads. I did the N260 across Spain, very twisty, hairpins, tunnels, mountains, altitude. And then we rode up to the Picos Mountains in northern Spain and did the Picos de Europa, again, stunning roads. And I can't believe how good this bike was, I really can't. I was riding in the company of 3 other bikes that had twice the engine capacity and twice the brake horsepower, and this thing flew. It was the perfect bike for the trip. I've done a little bit of green laning on it. I haven't off-roaded it yet, but I will be doing that, but it seems to be very capable. It's fitted with Pirelli STR rally tyres, which are dual purpose, and I had no problems in wet or dry. It really gripped the road well. So let's look at the bike in a bit more detail. Yes, it's Chinese, Italian styling, which I think is gorgeous. I'm going to get my cameraman just to pan around, walk around the bike so that you can see all aspects of it. It's got a really decent screen at the front, which might look small, but it does the job. LED lights, upside down Marzocchi forks, which are fully adjustable as we walk round. You've got USB ports. You've got a 7-inch display here, which I particularly liked because I can watch or look at the mile per hour in big figures, which is quite good when you need glasses. Coming round the side, you've got lovely MotoMorini motif there, 6-speed gearbox, chain driven, and this one was fitted with panniers, which are not aftermarket, they are made by MotoMorini. And I had a little bit of fun with the number plate because I could, really. So that's a walk round. So now we're going to go back. My cameraman's going to take you back to the start point and we'll talk more in detail. So, firstly, pricing. These are still available. The 650 is still available if you are interested in buying one. And they come in at a real budget price, because this is a budget mid-range adventure bike. You can get one, let me just check my figures. You can get one from Evolution Custom Motorcycles. I'll put a link into that as well. You can get the spoked version for 6,250 on the road, 6,250, or the cast wheels is just a tad under 6k. They have brought out a 700 version now, which has more horsepower, because if I had to have any possible downside, it's only 59 brake horsepower. However, the way the bike rides, it's not an issue. The new 700 has 71 brake horsepower, so that is the biggest advantage of the newer model. So these are a real bargain. When you look at the T7 or the Transalp, you're looking nudging 10k. So this is a serious budget bike. So you'd think it would be, well, down to a budget, but with the Marzocchi front forks, the K-Yaber adjustable rear suspension, fully adjustable rear suspension, Bosch electronic ignition, Brembo brakes, what's not to like? So, what's it like to ride? It was an absolute dream. The weight is probably a bit heavy compared to the Tenere or the Transalp, so you're looking at about 213, maybe 220 with fuel. But that didn't seem to make any difference to the handling. The bike felt light. Ergonomically, the moment I got on this bike, everything just seemed to be right. The riding position, standing on the pegs, just felt so natural. Now, I ought to add, for years, 30, I've ridden Africa Twins, and I'm talking the real Africa Twins, not the new ones that have corroded spokes. I'm talking ones that are 30 years old and still look like they're new. The RDO 4, the RDO 3, the 650, and the RDO 7. I've had Africa Twins for 30 years. The moment I got on this, it felt so comfortable, felt like an old pair of slippers, a bit like the old Africa Twins, so obviously I'm biased. This felt perfect. Power, 59 brake horsepower, that's enough for me. You can wring its neck, won't get you into trouble. Handling, bliss, absolute bliss. Carved through all the passes, the mountain passes, and although the bikes that I went with were much more powerful, I was the one they were chasing down on occasions because of the lightness and the power delivery. So it's a great bike. What don't I like? Because really, let's be objective, it's chain driven. So you're going to adjust your chain, although I must admit, when we had a rest day on our trip, I would normally be doing maintenance on my bike. However, I found it hard to do anything to this, so I thought I'd adjust the chain, but there was no 8mm Allen key in the toolkit which comes with the bike, and you need that to adjust the chain. So that's something I would say, make sure you've got an 8mm Allen key, otherwise you won't be able to adjust the chain. I wasn't convinced about the build quality, so I put a DID chain in one of the top boxes, because when I rode the Herald Maverick, another Chinese bike last year from Land's End to John O'Groats, it did eat through chains about 500 miles, so I wasn't convinced a Chinese chain would make the trip. However, 4,500 miles later, it's still on the original chain and in no signs of wear and tear. The build quality generally is exceptional. Everything about it is real quality. I love particularly the illuminated instruments, so you can see all the instrument functions, they're lit up. The screen is good for the display, but also this apparently small screen gives me perfect protection. It's got an 18-litre fuel tank, which gives you good capacity for miles, and I found it was quite frugal on fuel consumption. So quite a big tank. It had some other issues, which, not issues, but other things that I particularly liked. Look at those spoked wheels, if you come in onto the spoked wheels, Mr. Cameraman. Look how nice these are. These are stainless steel spokes. You don't get them on a T7 and you don't get them on a Honda Africa Twin. These are quality. The tyres, Pirelli, tubeless, yes, spoked wheels, but tubeless tyres. Now, a big adventure bike with a side stand, you get a puncture, you know the story there, that's going to be quite difficult. However, with this, you can just plug the tyres because they're tubeless, so I think that's a really good point. Let me just check my notes because there's so many things. Yeah, it's Chinese, and that's always an issue. The bikes you're riding, guys, whether it's a Honda, a Triumph, a Yamaha, they have Chinese parts in them. So it's a question of, do you buy a bike with Chinese parts, or do you buy a Chinese bike, which is effectively what this is. So in conclusion, would I keep it? Yeah. I thought I'd review this and then decide at the end of the trip whether I kept it or moved it on. But I love it. I'm going to keep it, and I think that says it all. I've been riding bikes for over 53 years, so I think I can make a fair comparison, and this is definitely a keeper. So if you've enjoyed the review, like, subscribe, and I'll do a link to my merch as well, because I've got a load of Biking Yogi merchandise which I'd like you to buy. But for now, cheers guys, thanks for watching.